So let's go to the NFL news of the day, and that is Anthony Richardson has been, oops, has been benched for Joe Flacco after statistically having one of the worst, and I mean worst, statistical starts to an NFL career any quarterback has ever had. I believe he's bottom 3 or 5, if I remember correctly, in almost every stat category for a quarterback. So
Oof.
historically bad, but this is
Is Bryce Young worse?
no, I think Anthony Richardson actually might be worse.
Oof.
But according to Adam Schefter, here's the report. A QB change for the Colts. Indianapolis is benching former first round pick Anthony Richardson and turning to veteran Joe Flacco. Sources tell Jeremy Fowler. And me. Oh, he always has to put in that, like, they told two of us at the same time, even though we know everyone knows they told Jeremy Fowler. Uh
Right. That's
coaches
funny.
coaches met this morning and made the seismic organizational decision to change QBs. That's my first question. Is this a seismic organizational decision? Does this feel like that big a deal?
I mean, yeah, I think so.
I don't think I feel that way. I mean, it's not like, again, he started what, 8, 7, 6 games this season and 4 games last season. I believe I saw the number was 11. So he's
Yeah, I
starting
mean, but here's the
11
thing,
games for the Colts.
if you can tell that he's not the guy, he's not the guy. Like, move.
Well, yeah.
Like, for a good example, the Panthers this year, they most likely will get the number 1 overall pick again. Do you pick another quarterback?
Well, yeah, look at the difference between what happened with Justin Fields and what look at with Caleb Williams. Now all of a sudden the Bears, I mean, we'll get to that game, but they're one win away from being, you know, a top 3 team in the league in terms of record right now if a Hail Mary doesn't get successful. But yeah, when we look at Anthony Richardson, now the thing about him coming out of Florida was that he didn't play any games, right? Like that was the whole thing with him. It's just he was an unknown commodity at the quarterback position. And so far in his career, he has a 5-5 record, a 50% completion percentage, 7 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, with 1,500 yards. So again, there's like really nothing here. I think he's too raw, right? Like that's what when we were doing the AFC South preview, the giant question mark on the Colts was Anthony Richardson and if he would continue improving like he did last year or kind of plateau, and it looked like he plateaued.
He fell off the plateau.
He fell off the plateau.
He road runnered that bitch off. He's like, "Woo."
Well,
He was the
also,
Wile E. Coyote of the situation.
so we don't have to talk about this game in a little bit because there is nothing really in it except for this moment. In the Colts Texans game on this past Sunday, there was a moment that, I mean, I've seen very few moments just like light a fire under especially former players, but just like NFL online presence like this one moment, which was Anthony Richardson. He's running around on I believe, a third down play or a second down play that was a second and long turned into a third and long. He runs around for a good minute to avoid a sack. He throws the ball, it just goes right into the dirt. And then he stands up, taps his helmet as if he's like tapping out. He's like repeatedly tapping the helmet, goes to the sidelines, is down on one knee, looks like he's out of breath. The quarterback, the Flacco, goes into the game for one play, then comes out one play, and Anthony Richardson goes back into the game. So the announcers are like, "What's going on? What's going on?" They ask him in the post game press conference, and the reporter goes, "Were you hurt or were you just tired?" And Anthony Richardson goes, "Oh, I was just tired. I need to catch my breath." In the middle of a game, in the middle of a drive, in the middle of a series, on like a crucial third down in a close game. Have you ever in all your history of watching football, Casino, your entire life, have you ever seen something like that?
No. No, and going the defenses for in any team should just be pointing and laughing at him because they have to deal with that. When they get tired, they just
Yeah.
have to go back out. Like those linemen are needing oxygen tanks and they're still out there playing because that's what they're getting paid to do. Not like, man, I'm tired. I'm so tired. No, like that was absolutely ridiculous that he did that.
Well,
I
I also
It blew
think
my mind. I honestly think that might be the moment that cost him his starting job.
I think so 100%. And this is going to be one of those things, much like the Cam Newton doesn't die for the fumble in the Super Bowl. This is going to be a moment that
That
no
ruins his
matter,
career.
yeah, whatever he ever tries to do in this league, there's always going to be the stigma in the moment that goes right back to that moment, right? Like this is going to haunt him unless he has a,
There's going to be a eye on him constantly about his conditioning in the offseason.
yeah. Well, also, that's the other thing. We just mentioned he's played 11 games in the pro. I think he played about the same amount of games in college. So this is a guy who has played almost impossibly the fewest games of any player in the NFL right now, right? Like just across their career in terms of college and pro football. And you're the one getting tired. Like you should be the one who has like the freshest legs of anybody. You've played the least. That just seems so, I mean, it's just again, if he needed to catch a break, I or need to catch a breath, I get it, but it also just the stigma of it and the bad look of it, even if it's not that big of a deal, because again, it was like a third and 20 something, it's still just going to be the stigma of it. And his
He
teammates
didn't
have to
want to
be
throw another
like,
pick.
well, yeah. And then also the teammates need to be like, dude, Flacco's over here on a crutches or in a wheelchair about to go into the old folks home and he's out here every week like just slinging it. Right? And then you have Anthony
I'm so
Richardson.
happy. I want nothing but just like a 4-game tear for the Colts right now. I
Well,
I I love Joe Flacco. I didn't, obviously I rooted against him when he was on the Ravens playing the Patriots because he was good, um, at that time. And I don't know, he's got a spark, man. Like
I've
he's
said it.
resurrecting his career. I love it.
We said it on here. I asked the question a couple weeks ago. Is Joe Flacco elite? And this season and last season, he kind of looks like he's elite.
He's
Like he
right on.
just
You can make the argument. I would say you can make the argument.
this season, 7 touchdowns, 1 interception. Again, in the same offense that this guy Anthony Richardson is in, where he can't complete over 50% of his throws. He has 4 passing touchdowns, or he has less than that. He has 3 passing touchdowns on the year. Like, what are we doing? What are
Yeah,
we
because it's
doing,
that new
Casino?
age and day. It's the new age and day of quarterback where there's no true pocket quarterbacks anymore. Like everybody has to be either a dual quarterback or a running quarterback.
But then you see, yeah, but then you see guys like Flacco, you see guys like Stafford, you see guys like Burrow and Kirk Cousins, and to a certain extent, Mahomes, all just like guys who stay in the pocket and just kind of sling it. And then you see
Well,
guys like, you know, Lamar Jackson or Hurts or other the quarterbacks who are like the dual threats. They're missing games every year because they get injured, they get hurt. Like maybe the way to go is the way it's always been for quarterbacks, which is just stand in the pocket and sling it.
who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? The greatest quarterback of all time has 7 Super Bowls because he stayed in the pocket and he just worked a slant.
Well, and then yeah, and then you look at a guy like Jaden Daniels, great pocket passer, and for some reason just likes to run it as much as he does throw it, and then he gets banged up when he does. I don't know.